hurts me knowing that he was in my house and I let him in the house and let him stay here and that he would do that to my son.
In the hours after a police shooting that left the teen in critical condition, the mother of a homicide victim from over the weekend is speaking up. She believes today's suspect is involved in her son's death. This is Wave News at 11. I'm John Bowles. It's been 3 days since Dee Martinez was found shot and killed along the railroad tracks on Allman Avenue. On Sunday, we talked to his mother, who was calling for anybody with information about his death to come forward. But as time went on, she believed the person who may know what really happened was actually living under her roof. Wave News reporter Alina Noakes has more.
Melissa Flores, the mother of Dee Martinez, became suspicious of a friend of her son's in the hours after he was killed. She started to think he might be connected to his death, and that's what she told LMPD detectives just hours before officers shot the armed teen right outside of her home. For Melissa Flores, it's been 3 painful days since her son, David Dee Martinez, was found shot and killed along the railroad tracks on Allman Avenue, not too far from her house. LMPD has released few details from the investigation, including any possible suspects. But Flores has done her own investigating, and she started to think someone who might have the answers was living under her roof.
He is just a friend of my son's, and he needed a place to stay and needed some help, so we let him stay here, and Dee got him a job working with him.
Flores says a friend of Dee's has been staying with them since the beginning of April. The mom tells us he was the last person to see her son alive. But when she asked him about the shooting, she says his story kept changing. But eventually, he put himself at the scene.
They supposedly had went to the railroad tracks to sell drugs, and that Dee had seen a guy that he knew and went after him, and then Stacks had just tried to yell for him, and then Stacks saw police and then went the other way. And then we asked, why wouldn't you stay? And I guess supposedly he said he had a warrant and everything. And then when I asked him, why would you leave him there? Why would you leave him there if you heard shots? Why wouldn't you go back?
As her suspicions around his possible connection to her son's death grew, Flores tells me she reached out to LMPD detectives. Flores says officers came to her house around 11 Tuesday morning, following up on her tip. She believes they were getting ready to perform a search warrant, but that's when she said police confronted the teen.
And I heard them say he has a gun, and they said stop or don't resist or something. I don't know, I can't remember. But then I heard a shot, and then I heard another shot.
Yeah, 30J, we got shots fired by police. Sergeant EMS, male gunshot wound to the head.
Flores says she went downstairs to see the teen lying on the ground. At a press conference later, LMPD confirmed officers were performing surveillance on a suspect from a homicide that happened over the last week. When they approached the suspect, described as a 17-year-old Hispanic male, he showed a gun and started to run.
Detectives were able to tackle the armed subject and began to wrestle for the gun in the suspect's hand. After multiple requests to release the gun, the suspect discharged the firearm, at which point one of our officers returned fire, striking the suspect 1 time.
The 17-year-old was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Though we have asked, LMPD has not confirmed whether the suspect involved in Tuesday's shooting is connected to Dee Martinez's homicide investigation. As for Flores, she's waiting to see what connection, if any, the suspect had to her son's case. In the meantime, she's left with a whole lot of questions and even more grief.
It really hurts us because he was considered family to Dee and a close friend, and it hurts me knowing that he was in my house and I let him in the house and let him stay here and that he would do that to my son, and knowing that he had a baby on the way.
LMPD says body camera video of the shooting will be released within the next 10 business days. Alina Noakes, Wave News.